Today, let's talk about one of Italy's oldest clubs, nicknamed La Vecchia Signora, or the Old Lady. Let's talk about Juventus. Juventus are from the city of Turin in northern Italy, and I have two kits from them throughout the years. They have won a record 35 Serie A titles. Their domestic prowess proceeds even further, having won 14 Coppas Italia throughout their history, as well as 9 Supercoppa Italiana titles. In Europe, they've taken 2 Champions Leagues. As you can guess, for a club with so many titles, they have a lot of successful eras. The two that are key for me are the late 70s into early 80s, and the decade of the 2010s. During that period from the 70s into the 80s, Juventus won 6 titles in a 10-year stretch. The important thing was what Giovanni Trapattoni's squad did in Europe. They took 5 of their titles. Key thing in there being that Juventus were the first ever club to take all 3 of UEFA's tournaments on offer, those being the European Cup, which is now the Champions League, the UEFA Cup, and the European Cup Winners' Cup. The second period of the 2010s was even more impressive domestically because they took 9 titles in a row, starting in the 2011-2012 season. The second point is the darker side of success, because I do have to mention Juventus' role in the Calciopoli scandal. This was a match-fixing scandal that rocked Italian football in 2006 when 5 clubs, including Juventus, were found to have directly impacted referees' decisions by contacting them outside of the pitch. Juventus had won the title the previous year, and they had that title stripped from them. It was given to Inter Milan instead, and they were relegated down to Serie B. A lot of the big names at Juventus, including Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Fabio Cannavaro, Lilian Thuram, moved to other pastures so they could play top football. But not all did. Pavel Nedved, as well as Trezeguet, stuck around. The club's greatest goal scorer, Alessandro Del Piero, stuck around as well. And finally, the man that stuck around and is famous for doing so, Gianluigi Buffon. This is one of the few goalkeeper kits I have in my collection. Gigi Buffon is my favorite goalkeeper of all time, and definitely the greatest Italy has ever had. To dig a little deeper into their kit, Juventus are famous for their black and white stripes, but that's not their original kit color, and the origin story of how they got here is really great. Juventus' original color was pink, and that pops up as an away or a third kit from year to year now, but in 1903, that kit was getting worn and washed out so many times that it had faded, and the club needed new ones. One of the players had a connection with an Englishman who helped them send over jerseys from his favorite club in England, Notts County. They did have the honor of playing the first match at the Juventus Stadium when it opened in 2011, so the connection's still there. Because of the scale of their club, they have a lot of different rivalries across Italy. 2 largest ones are their local, and then the broader Italian derby. So the local one being known as the Derby della Mole, that's against Torino, as well as Italy, the Derby d'Italia, against Internazionale Milano. In their current squad, let's talk about Federico Chiesa, one of their best attacking talents, as well as their stalwart in defense, Leonardo Bonucci. They're doing really good transfer business for free in this offseason with Paul Pogba, as well as Angel Di Maria coming into the squad. Juventus are doing a lot of work to try and regain their Scudetto. With the last 2 seasons going to both Milan clubs, Juventus has some work to do.